When I first met Jake, I never imagined he would change everything. He was Mia's older brother, quiet, responsible, and always a little distant. Mia was my best friend since high school, the kind of friend who felt like family. Her house was my second home, and every summer we'd escape to her family's lake house in Vermont. That summer, everything felt softer. The lake shimmered under the sunlight, cicadas hummed in the trees, and the air smelled like pine and memories waiting to happen. Mia and I had just graduated college, ready to chase our dreams. Jake had come back from New York, where he worked as an architect. He wasn't the boy I remembered from our teenage years. He was older now, calmer, with that quiet confidence that makes you want to listen when he speaks. The first night we arrived, Mia ran inside to find her swimsuit, leaving me on the porch. That's when I saw him. Jake was fixing one of the old deck lights, sleeves rolled up, the glow of the setting sun painting his skin gold. When he looked up and met my eyes, I froze for a second. He smiled. Small, polite, but something in that smile lingered in my mind long after dinner. I tried to ignore it. He was off limits. He was Mia's brother. But fate has a way of laughing at our rules. Over the next few days, we crossed paths constantly, early mornings in the kitchen, both reaching for the same mug. Afternoons when Mia went out with friends and I stayed behind, reading on the porch, only to find Jake sitting nearby, sketching designs in his worn leather notebook. We talked about books, about life, about the little things people usually forget to mention. There was an ease between us, a quiet connection that neither of us spoke about, but both of us felt. One night, the power went out during a storm. The whole house was dark except for the candles flickering in the living room. Mia had fallen asleep upstairs. I went to check on Jake in the workshop and found him standing by the window, watching the rain. "You okay?" I asked. He turned slowly, rainlight reflecting in his eyes. "Yeah, just thinking." "About what?" He smiled faintly. "About how everything feels different when it rains. Like the world slows down." I stepped closer, barely realizing it. The silence stretched between us. Soft, charged, he reached out, brushing a wet strand of hair from my face, and whispered, "You should go inside before you catch a cold." But neither of us moved. When our lips finally met, it was like the storm outside had found its echo inside us. Wild, beautiful, and unstoppable. After that night, everything changed. Every touch was stolen, every glance dangerous. We became experts at pretending. Pretending nothing was happening, pretending I wasn't falling in love with my best friend's brother. Until the day we were caught. Mia came home early one afternoon and found us on the porch holding hands. Her face turned pale. "What is this?" she whispered. "Mia." I tried to explain, but she stepped back, her voice breaking. "You were my sister. How could you do this to me?" She ran inside. Jake followed, but the damage was done. I packed my things that night, tears blurring my vision, my heart breaking with every step. Jake tried to stop me, but I couldn't face her. I couldn't destroy the only friendship that ever felt like family. I left Vermont the next morning. Years passed. Life moved on. Or at least it tried to. I moved to Boston, got a job as a designer, and buried the memories under deadlines and distractions. But some nights when it rained, I could still hear the echo of that storm, his voice, his touch. Then one ordinary morning, I received an invitation. It was for Mia's wedding. My hands trembled as I read it. After all these years, she wanted me there. I didn't know if I had the courage to face her, or him, but something inside me whispered that maybe it was time. Time to stop running from the past. When I arrived, everything felt surreal. The ceremony was held at the same lake house where it all began. The air smelled of nostalgia and summer rain. Mia looked radiant, older, softer. She hugged me, really hugged me. And for a moment, it was like nothing had ever been broken. "I'm glad you came," she said, her voice quiet. "Me too," I whispered. As the night went on, I wandered outside of the porch. The same porch where everything started, where everything fell apart. And there he was, Jake. He looked exactly the same. Maybe a little older, maybe a little wiser. But his eyes still held that same warmth that once melted all my defenses. "I didn't think you'd come," he said softly. "I wasn't sure I could," I replied. We stood there, the silence thick with years of unsaid words. Then he reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. "I never stopped writing," he said, handing it to me. It was one of his sketches. The lake house, the porch, the stars. Underneath it a note. "If we ever find each other again, I hope we've both learned to forgive and to love without fear." Tears welled in my eyes. "Jake." He stepped closer, his voice trembling. "I never wanted to hurt anyone, but I couldn't forget you. I tried. Believe me, I tried. But every time it rained, every time I looked at the water, I thought of you." The wind rustled through the trees, the same soft summer wind that had witnessed our first kiss. I smiled through the tears. Maybe we were just waiting for the right time. He reached out his hand, hesitant but hopeful. "So, can we start again?" For a moment, the world went silent. The lake shimmered, the stars blinked above, and I felt that same warmth I had felt years ago. The feeling of something real, something worth fighting for. I took his hand. "Yeah, let's start again." Mia found us later, talking on the porch. She didn't look angry anymore. Just peaceful. "I always knew you loved him," she said softly. "I was just too hurt to see it then. But I'm glad you both found your way back."
We smiled, and in that moment, the years of pain seemed to fade like mist over the lake. The next morning, the three of us stood by the water as the sun rose. Mia tossed a handful of wildflowers into the lake. "To new beginnings," she said. Jake slipped his arm around me, and to second chances, he whispered, as the golden light reflected on the water. I realized that love wasn't about timing or perfection, it was about growth, forgiveness, and courage. Because sometimes the people we're meant to be with are the ones we meet too soon, lose too fast, and find again when our hearts finally learn how to stay. And in that moment, surrounded by love and morning light, I knew. My first love wasn't just a memory, he was home.